All right, so for this one it says use limits to describe the behavior of a rational function and indicate the asymptote. So the asymptote occurs when the denominator, x minus 4, is equal to 0, because really it can't equal 0. That occurs when x is not equal to 4. So when I go to graph this thing, at x equals 4 or x cannot equal 4, there's a vertical asymptote. Now, what that means is graphically, this graph will come up to that point, but it will not cross it. And so when it says describe the behavior, when it's near its vertical asymptote, usually these have a tendency to do something like this. They either go like this and do this, or sometimes if you have, it really depends on what the leading coefficient is. Sometimes it'll do that. But usually, if you approach the vertical asymptote from one side and it goes to positive infinity, if you approach from the other side, it will go towards negative infinity and vice versa. So the best way to do this is just to graph that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say 3 divided by the quantity x minus 4, oops, x minus 4, and hit graph. And so as we approach 4, it does exactly what I said it would. So remember now, for limit notation, if I want to say x approaches 4 from negative infinity, that means we're coming from this way. And I want to know what the behavior of the function is. So right here is where I'm going to plug the y value that I think it's approaching. So here's the problem with limits. You're going to approach an x value, but the answer for the limit is what is your y value that you're approaching as you approach that x value. And then as you're approaching that x value, you can determine the direction that you're coming from. So what I'm really saying is look at f of x and come from the negative infinity side on the x-axis and just follow the curve. Now this is x cannot equal 4. And so if I keep following the curve, what does it look like the y value is approaching? Negative infinity, and that is correct. So now we're just going to do the same thing, except we're going to take the limit as x approaches 4 from positive infinity. And so now for this one, again, we're starting from the positive infinity side, and we're going up the curve. Yeah, I know, I kind of mispronounced infinity. There were some chuckles there. What is the y value approaching in the y direction? Positive infinity. So this is equal to positive infinity. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? All right, so let's see which one of those options showed up in our test. So as we approach from the negative side, it went to negative infinity. I think it's B, right?
Yes,
yep.
Sir.